Ever wonder where your money goes? I did too, until I realized I was spending thousands on things I didn't even need. By cutting out just 10 things, I saved over $10,000 in a year. That's right, 5 digits. Imagine what you could do with an extra 10 grand in your pocket. So, are you ready to see what I ditched? Let's find out. First up, let's talk about coffee. For years, grabbing a cup of coffee from my favorite cafe was a non-negotiable part of my daily routine. It was almost a ritual, walking into the cozy shop, the smell of fresh espresso in the air, the friendly nod from the barista who already knew my order. It felt like a small luxury, a treat to start my day on the right foot. But after a while, I started noticing just how much those daily coffee shop runs were killing my bank account. Each swipe of my card, each crumpled receipt was adding up way faster than I realized. It wasn't just the price of the coffee either. Sometimes I'd grab a pastry or tip a little extra, and suddenly my small treat was costing me a fortune every month. I joked that I was practically funding the barista's next vacation, but honestly, it wasn't far from the truth. The staff at my local coffee shop probably recognized me more than some of my own friends did. I loved the atmosphere, but my wallet definitely didn't. One day, as I reached for another sugary, overpriced coffee drink, it hit me. I was heading down the same expensive, sugar-laden path every single day. Not only was I spending way too much, but I was also loading up on extra calories and sugar I didn't really need. It was a wake-up call, so I decided to make a change. I invested in a decent coffee maker for my kitchen, nothing too fancy, but good enough to make a solid cup of coffee. I started brewing at home, experimenting with different beans and flavors, and learning how to make my own perfect cup. Sure, it wasn't as fancy as the cafe's lattes, and there was no one to draw a heart in my foam, but it did the trick. Plus, I could add whatever I wanted, extra cinnamon, a splash of oat milk, or even a drizzle of honey, without anyone judging my choices. It became a fun little morning ritual, and I actually started to enjoy the process. The best part? The savings were absolutely insane. I went from spending $5 a day, sometimes more, to less than $1 for a homemade cup. That's a huge difference, especially when you add it up over weeks and months. When I did the math, I realized I was saving almost $1,500 a year just by making my own coffee at home. That's money I can put towards something way more meaningful than a daily caffeine fix, like a weekend getaway, a new hobby, or just a little extra peace of mind. And honestly, my homemade coffee tastes even better knowing how much I'm saving. Next up, let's talk about takeout lunches. If you're anything like I was, you probably know the feeling of sitting at your desk, surrounded by stacks of takeout containers, wondering where all your money and your energy has gone. It's so easy to fall into the habit of ordering food every day, especially when you're busy or just too tired to cook after a long day. I used to order in all the time, pizza, burgers, sushi, you name it. The options were endless, and it felt like a treat at first. But after a while, I realized I was spending a small fortune on food that wasn't even making me feel good. The convenience was tempting, but it came at a price, both for my wallet and my health. It was convenient, but the cost added up fast. Every week, I'd look at my bank statement and be shocked at how much I'd spent just on lunches. And it wasn't just the money. Those meals were often loaded with extra salt, sugar, and unhealthy fats. I started to notice I was feeling more sluggish and less motivated throughout the day, so I decided to make a change and gave meal prepping a try. At first, I was a little intimidated by the idea of cooking so much food at once, but I figured it was worth a shot. I spent a Sunday afternoon planning out my meals, making a grocery list, and getting everything ready for the week ahead. I'd cook a big batch of something healthy on Sunday and portion it out for the week. It was actually kind of fun, chopping veggies, cooking up grains, and seeing all those colorful containers lined up in the fridge. It felt like I was setting myself up for success, one meal at a time. Chicken and rice, veggie stir-fries, even homemade lasagna. Suddenly, I had a variety of easy, tasty, and ready-to-go meals at my fingertips. I could mix and match ingredients, try new recipes, and control exactly what went into my food. Plus, I didn't have to stress about what to eat every day. Not only did I save money, but I started eating healthier too. My lunches were packed with fresh veggies, lean proteins, and whole grains. I noticed I had more energy, my mood improved, and I didn't get that afternoon crash anymore. It was amazing how much of a difference a little planning could make. No more greasy takeout making me feel sluggish. Instead, I felt satisfied and energized after every meal. I even found myself looking forward to lunch, knowing I had something delicious and nourishing waiting for me. It was a total shift in how I approached food. Plus, it felt good knowing exactly what I was eating. I could choose high-quality ingredients, skip the additives, and season everything just the way I like. Meal prepping gave me control over my nutrition and helped me build healthier habits that stick. Meal prepping was a total game-changer. It saved me time, money, and stress, and it made healthy eating so much easier. If you're tired of takeout and ready for a fresh start, give meal prep a try. You might be surprised at how much you love it. Let's talk about subscription boxes. I had subscriptions for everything: clothes, snacks, even beard grooming products. Those monthly charges added up fast, and half the stuff I got I didn't even use. So I did a subscription audit and cancelled the ones that weren't worth it. Now, I only keep the ones I truly love and use. Being selective saved me money and decluttered my life. I used to refresh my wardrobe every season, but my closet was already full of great clothes. So I challenged myself to shop my own closet before buying anything new. I organized, mixed and matched pieces in new ways, watched a few styling videos for inspiration, ended up with new outfits without spending a dime. Gym memberships. Been there, wasted that. You know the drill. You get inspired by a New Year's resolution, or maybe a friend convinces you to join, and suddenly you're signing a contract for a fancy gym. The first week you're pumped. You buy new workout clothes, maybe even a water bottle with motivational quotes. You show up, swipe your card, and feel like you're on top of the world. But then, life happens. Work gets busy, you're tired, or maybe you just lose interest. Before you know it, weeks go by, and the only thing getting a workout is your bank account. I'd sign up, go a few times, then forget about it while the monthly charge kept coming. Every month, I'd see that fee on my statement and feel a pang of guilt. I'd promise myself I'd go next week, but next week never came. The gym became this weird, expensive ghost haunting my finances. It was like throwing money down the drain. Seriously, I could practically hear the sound of my hard-earned cash swirling away every time I ignored another gym reminder email. It's amazing how quickly those fees add up, especially when you're not even using the treadmill you're paying for. So I got real with myself. Traditional gyms just weren't my thing. I realized I was more motivated by convenience and fun than by rows of machines and fluorescent lights. I needed something that fit my lifestyle, not something that made me feel guilty every time I drove past the building. Instead, I started running outside, doing bodyweight exercises at home, and even joined a local sports team. The fresh air made running feel less like a chore and more like an adventure. Home workouts meant I could squeeze in a quick session before work or after dinner, no commute required. And joining a team brought back the fun and camaraderie I'd been missing. Turns out, you don't need an expensive gym to get fit. There are so many ways to move your body that don't involve a membership card or a monthly bill. Whether it's hiking, dancing in your living room, or following free workout videos online, the options are endless and often way more enjoyable. Find what works for you and stick with it. Maybe you love yoga, or maybe you're more into cycling or swimming. The key is to experiment until you find something that makes you look forward to moving, not dread it. Fitness isn't one size fits all, and that's actually a good thing. Your wallet and your body will thank you. Not only will you save money, but you'll also feel better knowing you're investing in yourself, not just a gym's bottom line. Plus, you can use those savings for things you actually enjoy, like a new pair of running shoes or a fun fitness class with friends. Plus, working out on your own terms is way more motivating. There's no pressure to keep up with anyone else, no awkward locker room encounters, and no waiting for your favorite machine. You set the pace, the place, and the playlist. Suddenly, exercise feels less like an obligation and more like a reward. No more guilt over unused memberships. No more feeling bad about skipping the gym because you're tired or busy. When you take control of your fitness, you get to decide what works for you, and that freedom is empowering. Just real results and real savings. I started seeing changes in my energy, my mood, and yes, even my bank account. It's amazing what can happen when you stop paying for something you don't use and start investing in habits that actually stick. Fitness doesn't have to cost a fortune. With a little creativity, you can build a routine that fits your budget, your schedule, and your personality. So skip the guilt, skip the fees, and find your own path to feeling great. No membership required. Groceries were another money pit. I used to be a brand name snob, but those prices were wild. I switched to store brands for a month and barely noticed a difference. Cereal, pasta, bread, you name it, the store brand was just as good, and way cheaper, sometimes half the price. My grocery bill shrunk like magic. Store brands for the win. Tech gadgets, there's always something new. I used to chase every upgrade, but most changes were minor. Was it really worth hundreds for a slightly better camera? I started asking myself, do I need this, or just want it? Most of the time, it was just FOMO. Now, I only upgrade when I truly need to. My bank account is much happier. Water is cheap, but bottled water isn't. I used to buy bottled water everywhere, on the go, at the gym, at the airport. The cost and plastic waste added up fast. So I bought a reusable water bottle. Now I fill up before I leave home and skip the single-use bottles. No more wasting money or creating plastic waste. Even at the airport, I just use a water fountain. Simple change, big savings. And it's better for the planet too. Online shopping is a black hole. One click and your money's gone. I unsubscribed from all those tempting email lists. Then I deleted shopping apps from my phone. Out of sight, out of mind. Removing temptation broke the impulse buying cycle. My bank account thanked me. Sometimes less really is more. Cutting these 10 things saved me over $10,000 this year. Imagine what you could do with that kind of money. What could you stop buying to save big? Share your goals in the comments. Let's inspire each other to make smarter choices. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to help everyone save some serious cash.